Alright, so this is going to be somewhat of a installation slash review of these Feit electric smart dimmers from Costco. This is currently on sale. It tells you here it requires a neutral wire. I was a little worried this wouldn't work with my light just because the way it was set up, and I'll show you in a bit and explain what I mean. Alright, so here you go. Works with or without Wi-Fi, so you don't need the Wi-Fi. Though I did notice when I didn't connect the Wi-Fi, the dimming, at least on mine because I have LED bulbs, not the incandescent ones, it was actually flickering when I dim the light. And once I connected the Wi-Fi, it was okay. And I think what it is because when it's looking for a Wi-Fi signal, the Wi-Fi light that's in the switch. So the switch here will actually have a little light, and I'll show you that soon as well. But that thing will keep blinking if there's no Wi-Fi. So I don't know if you get the app and then you set it up without Wi-Fi, maybe it'll stop the blinking and it'll be fine. But I didn't try setting it up like that. Alright, so I'll let you read over all of this stuff. You can pause if you want. So this can be used, and you need the bulbs that are dimmable. You can't just use any random bulbs, okay? And here you go. It tells you can use it with Alexa, Siri, Google. Of course, you want to turn off the power at your breaker, so you want to make sure that no power is going to your light. So when you turn off the breaker, then the light shouldn't turn on. If you don't know what a breaker is, you can look that up, Google. It can be in all different places of your house, and it's a good thing to know where it is, because if you overload your circuits, you should know how to trigger the circuit breaker to turn it back on. But here you go. They show this wiring. They actually make it look more like there's less wires than you need. So I'll show you what I ended up having to do on mine because my setup was different. So there's no red wire, there's just black wire. So this is supposed to be a black wire, then black wire, white wire, and the green wire. And because mine was set up differently, I actually had to connect multiple white wires, and I'll show you why in a bit. So here you go. It even tells you if you see multiple white wires, it's very likely that you have a neutral in the switch box. If you do not have a neutral wire, then the dimmer will not work. Okay, and this packaging is a pain to remove. I had to basically get something to get between the plastic here and that to pry it out. I'll show you with the other box that I opened already. If you want to read all the rest of the stuff, 20 volt, 120 volt, 450 watt max, incandescent, all right, 150 watt max dimmable LED. Okay, so let me show you now with the one I opened. Okay, so the packaging, basically like this, you can see it has two pieces of this plastic clamshell, and they just sandwich it between this cardboard stuff with some glue. So it's really difficult. Once you can tear out enough, then you can open this. Alright, so let me show you what the instructions show. I'm only going to show the single dimmer method, but in case you want to see the instructions for the others, I will show that as well, and you can read through it. Alright, let me show you that. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm just going to show this whole pamphlet kind of close up, and then you can pause and read it if you want. I don't know what the order of this pamphlet is. I didn't actually follow this whole thing, but I'm just going to show somewhat close up so you can read everything. You can pause whenever you want and read it. Hopefully you'll be able to read everything that's in here. And then I'll show how mine was installed and what I had to do. Alright, so here you can see there's the different dimmer installation stuff. Okay, I don't know if you can read all of this. I might have to zoom in a bit and show this closer. Here they show how to wire it up. Okay, here's if you have a three-way connection. So they actually show all of this. So if whoever built your house did it properly and used the right color wires, then you should be okay to figure this out. If somebody was messing around with the wiring and didn't know what they were doing, didn't follow the correct method, then yeah. Oh, anyways, I forgot to mention, these 2-pack is $29.99 normally, but it had a $10 off, so it was $19.99 for 2. So I thought that was a good deal, $10 per switch. Alright, so that's the instructions there. And then they have this whole app guide. I don't think you really need this whole app guide if you want. I'm pretty sure with this you can actually set timers and all of that stuff. But they have this whole thing telling you how to use the app guide, or how to use the app. But yeah, it's a very long guide. Actually, I'll open it up and I'll just show like quickly, but I'm not going to really go over much of this. Okay, so this is the app guide. Again, I'm just going to quickly show this. You can pause wherever. Hopefully it'll be readable. If not, if you buy the light bulbs, then you can read it later, I guess. But anyways, you need this app to control it from your phone and set up the Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm just quickly going over this. Usually if you're installing these, you probably already know how apps work and things like that. Or I would hope you would. The app setup is pretty simple, so I'm going to show you this whole thing. Again, you can pause and read if you want. Hopefully it'll be readable. Yeah, they show you for Siri and Alexa and all of that. Okay, did I turn off my... Okay. Making sure I turned off the charging on my phone. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to, or at least how I installed it. You might need some extra wire. I had some 14 gauge, but you don't want to use 14 gauge wire unless this is only going to the light fixture and nothing else. But to be safe, I got some 12 gauge wire, which is a bit thicker, and this can handle up to 20 amps, I believe. And the surge protector is a 20 amp circuit surge protector, so that's why I got the thicker wire, just to make sure we didn't get any melting wires and cause any fires. Alright, so this is the wire. This is what our old switch looked like. It's all broken and messed up, so that's why I got this. I got the replacement. Okay, so here's what the wires were. You can see this switch only has 2 wires, so I thought this wasn't going to work, but let me show you. I labeled this so that I can tell what goes where. Alright, let me show you what we got. Okay, so here you can see how it was installed. I didn't finish the install. I need to put the white wires back in. These screws, when you undo them, it lifts a plate inside these holes. Let me actually show you on the other one. So inside the holes here, there's a metal plate that when you unscrew it, it basically moves that plate out of the way. Then when you put the wire in, it pushes the plate on top. But yeah, hold on, my brother's... Alright, sorry about that. Anyways, so yeah, there's a metal plate in here. When you unscrew it, it moves the plate out of the way. You put the wire in and then tighten it, and it pushes the plate on top. Okay, so let me now show you the wiring I had in my wall before. Okay, so as you can see, there's this black wire with the tape on it, and then we got this black wire without the tape on it. So before, what we had was this old switch. We had this wire hooked onto this one, and then the one without the tape on it hooked onto that one. And they just had these twist-on wire nuts. Let me actually grab that to show you. Okay, so before they had these, which basically has this little screw mechanism in there, that when you twist this on, it just tightens the wires and twists them together, and it kind of has some teeth that grabs into the wire to help make sure that all the wires are connected properly. So what we had was that. Okay, let me show you. Alright, and then we had this white wire here, and all these other white wires, they were all connected with a red screw cap like this. And then here you can see all these ground wires are screwed together here. This ground wire that I have connected right now used to be just twisted around to a little loop, so that way it can like attach to the screw at the bottom, not up there, but it doesn't matter. Either way, it was on the metal plate. But now this has a dedicated grounding spot, so that's why it's like that. Alright, so when this was originally in the wall, all these white wires were twisted together with the red cap. Okay? And then you can see all the ground wires are twisted to with this one, and then you have all the black wires twisted with this one. And what you see in here, so you can see there's this white shield coated wire with the ground. You see the black, the ground, and then the white for neutral. And then you see that one there, you got the same thing, the black, white, and the ground, or ground, white, and black, whichever. And then if you look in that very corner over there, which I can't really show really well, but there's another black casing one with the same black, silver, and white. Okay, so what's going on here is you got this one, which the white one, it goes into the chandelier or the light fixture, okay? And then you got the black one here. I'm not sure which is which because I didn't test the wires separately, but most likely this is going to the circuit breaker, okay, which gets the power. And then this other one is likely going into the outlets or something in the on the same circuit breaker. So because of that, you want to make sure that this is all going into a 20 amp circuit breaker, breaker switch, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the proper terms. I'm not an actual electrician. I usually just look at things and figure out how things work. So yeah, if you want advice from an actual electrician, make sure to ask an actual electrician. But anyways, you want to make sure your circuit breaker is off outside so that way you can't electrocute yourself. Make sure that to test that, try and turn your lights on. Your lights shouldn't be able to turn on, and that's how you know your circuit breaker's off. And then make sure nobody plays with the circuit breaker outside that might accidentally turn it on while you're working on it, or purposely turn it on if they're trying to kill you. But yeah, so as you can see, there's those 3 separate wires. So basically what you want the power from outside, so basically this one, all going into this side here, okay? And then you want one of these black wires going to, so you want a black wire going to the load one here, and then one of the white wires, you also want the white wire for the lamp going to the white ones with the rest. So let me show you that on the thing. Okay, so this is how I was kind of looking at it upside down like that. So this is where you get the black wire, which is the load that goes to the light itself. So here you see the ACN, which is the neutral, which is alternating current neutral wire, which is the white wires. Then you got the alternating current load, which is the black wire. And then you got the G, which is ground, which is usually with a green screw there. Okay, so basically black one that goes to your light in here. You want the white one that goes to your light as well as to the main circuit panel to here. Then you want the ground to there, and then you want the black AC load wire that's going to the circuit panel to here. Okay, and then let me show you my setup again. So I was messing around with it, trying to figure out, because I didn't know which was going to the light and which was going to the ground, and or to the circuit breaker panel, and which was going to the outlets. So I had to figure out which one was which. So basically we had these 2 black wires. All right, as you can see, this black wire is going up into that white shield one, and then this black wire is going into the twisted one. So because you see this black wire is going into the twisted one, most likely all the power and everything is connected to this one. And then this one, since it's separate by itself, it's most likely just going to the light, okay? Or the device that you're powering. So that's how I somewhat figured that out, but I did switch it around just to make sure. Okay, and then again, all the white connectors are connected here. Technically, you can bundle all, oops, not this one, the one below it. Can't see it. Oh, sorry, here. This one doesn't have the red cap on it. So technically, you can combine all the white wires together right here, and then you can run a wire from this over to here. But because I don't think I can fit 4 wires into this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece because it has 2 holes for each one. So I'm going to use this wire that's going up into the circuit breaker, okay, to bring power here. And then I'm going to use another wire to bring the power from there over to this, which combines all the wires together. And basically in here is just a solid metal tab that squeezes the wires together, so it's basically the same as everything will be connected. So let me actually wire that up and I'll show you in a bit. Alright, so because I can't do this while holding the camera, basically what I did, I loosened the silver screw here, okay? After I loosened that, I put these two wires in, the two white wires, and then I tightened the screw down. Alright, so we still have this loose one, so we're going to attach that with the other two white wires down there with one of those red caps, and yeah. Alright, so I'll do that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like after I'm done. One thing I forgot to mention, if you can, you want to twist these wires together, okay? And then we'll twist the red wire nut on top. I don't know what you'd call that. Alright, I think it's called a wire nut. Alright, so I'll do that and then I'll show you again. Alright, so here you can see I bundled the three white wires together and then I just twisted the wire nut on. After you do that, you want to turn the circuit breaker on just to test it. And then we're going to turn it back off to push all these wires back in the wall and put the screws in. Alright, so let me do that real quick and I'll be back. Alright, so normally this light will be blinking, but because I already set it up on Wi-Fi, you can see it's solid. When you push this on, it shows this, so you know it's full brightness. This one adjusts the brightness up, and then this one adjusts the brightness down. So you can see it's going down. Alright, and actually it's flickering right now, so maybe it's just it takes a while to get enough power to stop the flickering, because last time once I had it all installed it was fine. Okay, so I know it's working now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the circuit breaker off so all this power is off, and then I'm going to go ahead and push these wires back into the wall, put these screws in, and then we're going to put the decorative plate on top. Alright, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I turned the switch off so you can see there's no light. Pressing this does nothing. Now we're going to basically just shove all these pieces back in there. So the wires, you can twist and bend them, alright, and they kind of stay in place. So there you go. We're just going to twist and bend and push all these wires back in. Sorry, it's hard for me to know what I'm filming while I'm doing this, but just know that we're just shoving all these wires back in there into that hole. Okay, and then we're just going to push this whole thing in. So make sure everything is going in right. Make sure, hopefully there's enough room back there. So there we go. Okay, and then we're going to put these screws in. So these screws will go back into there. Okay, I mean, you get the idea. Let me do that and I'll be back. Alright, so we got the light switch in place. Now we need to put the decorative cover on top. Okay, so the decorative cover looks like this. It has this removable plate. We're going to have to use a flathead screwdriver to remove it. Okay, let's see if I can do this with one hand. So basically you want to get the flathead screwdriver in this little gap there, down there. Okay, so get that in there, and then we're just going to pop this up. So get in there and pry that out. Just like that, okay, on both sides. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to pop this out. You want to be careful not to break the plastic. So I'm just working my hand over that way, and we're going to pop that up. Same thing with the other side. Okay, and you want these tabs to face down, so that way when you look at the top of the panel or the plate, you won't see it, so it'll be like this. Alright, so we're going to screw this plate into there. It came with 2 screws in a Ziploc bag, so we're going to get those screws out, and we're going to screw that into place. Alright, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so we got that plate in. Here you can see they actually label the top, and on the back of this plate they label the top as well. Once you get all the screws in, just get that over there, and then click that into place. Again, if you ever need to take this out, you can access those from the bottom with the flathead screwdriver, and then you can pull it out. So anyways, I'm going to put the power back onto the switch, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I powered it back up. Here you can see the lights on. You can press it once, it turns on. Press it again, it turns off. And this is what adjusts the brightness. Alright, right now it's all flickery again. So I'm going to leave it for a bit and we'll see if the flickering goes away. Alright, so I'm going to leave it for about a minute and I'll see you guys in a bit. I don't know why it's doing that flickery thing right now again. But yeah, alright. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I'm not sure what it is, but when it's on, after it's been off for a while, it starts flickering. But after you leave it on for a while, so right now you can see it's flickering. After you leave it on for a while at max brightness, then you can go ahead and adjust the brightness down and the flickering will actually stop happening. So I'm not sure what causes that, but again, once you leave it on for a while, so here you can see it's like not blinking or flickering as much. Eventually it will stop flickering even at very low settings. So here you can see it's flickering still, but only every once in a while. Eventually, after you leave it on for a while, then the flickering stops. So here you can see it's still flickering. I guess it's acting like fire, but it shouldn't be doing that. So here you can see max brightness is okay, and then when I lower it, okay, it's not flickering. Oh, it's still somewhat flickering. So I don't know what causes it. Sometimes it flickers and sometimes it doesn't. So you might want to test this with your lights. In the app, you can tell it if it's an incandescent or LED bulb. I told it these are LED bulbs and these are LED bulbs. So they also have a setting where you can set the lowest. Oh, okay, the flickering is kind of, oh no, it's still somewhat there. So I don't know what it is, but okay, at certain settings it flickers a lot less. So I guess it has trouble regulating the voltage properly. So I don't know, we'll see if I keep these or not. It is kind of nice. I rarely use it on the dim settings, and I can change it. Now I can adjust it with my Google Voice, telling it to turn the lights on and off. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, anyways, hopefully this video helped you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.